We saw the Hardy Boyz are now free agents, now having left AEW. Matt Hardy left AEW a couple of months back. His contract expired in late March, early April. He's officially a free agent and has been for a while now. He showed up in TNA at the end of April. Jeff Hardy's officially a free agent, having left AEW just about a week ago, actually less than a week ago, becoming a free agent about, I think last Friday, and then showing up at TNA's Against All Odds, a pay-per-view or event, whatever you want to call it, later on that night, helping out Matt after the main event. So the Hardy Boyz are officially in TNA using the old Hardy Boyz music they used in WWE, they used in AEW. I think it's pretty cool. I feel like a run in WWE is inevitable. Now, how long that run would be, I don't know. I don't think they would be as full-time or as active as the Dudley Boyz were a decade ago. The Dudley Boyz were probably older than the Hardys are now. I'm not exactly sure, but physically they're not the same in the ring as they were the last time they were in WWE 7 years ago. And even then they were kind of not broken. I mean, I guess character-wise they were, but physically they weren't broken down and beaten up, but they were, definitely slower than they were the last time they were in WWE prior to that, over a decade ago. So in 2024, I'm not sure that they could really have a full-time run in WWE, but one last run for like a full, a final match, a full program or whatever with whoever would be cool. I feel like they can bring value to WWE's tag team division, being as popular as they are still in 2024, being two notable names ahead of a Hall of Fame induction. So a TNA run for now makes sense. I feel like they could have their flexible dates going on the independent scene and doing the DNA stuff and whatever, probably recapturing the TNA World Tag Team titles at some point. But eventually in WWE, I feel like, this could be honestly the equivalent of what happened 7 years ago when they left TNA, actually, ironically, and then went to Ring of Honor for a quick stint before then going to WWE. And they were only in Ring of Honor for like a month, but they held in that time the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles, dropped to the Young Bucks over WrestleMania weekend, and then showing up at WrestleMania the following night. Now, I don't think that's going to happen exactly the same way in 2024, but it's very possible that we could see the Hardy Boyz back in WWE at some point down the road. Probably before the year is through, if not early 2025. I'll enjoy the TNA run while it lasts. But WWE is now working with TNA. We've seen that in the last month with Jordan Grace showing up in NXT, challenging for the NXT Women's Championship in a great match with Roxanne Perez back at Battleground. And then on Tuesday, we had Frankie Kazarian and Joe Hendry showing up in the NXT Championship #1 Contenders Battle Royal. A great moment. I think it's the most popular video on WWE's YouTube channel, or on socials, whatever, since Mania, which is pretty fucking crazy. Even beating out the Wyatt Six stuff for Monday, which is wild. The Joe Hendry appearance was amazing. So, and he's not even like the greatest guy in the... Joe Hendry is very entertaining. He's not even the greatest in-ring wrestler, but he's very popular for those that don't follow TNA. He's like a meme, and he has been for a while now. So I'm glad they capitalized on that, put him on the show. I tweeted on Tuesday. Some people misinterpreted because they can't fucking read. But, I had made the comment that I can almost guarantee you WWE was not expecting that level of a pop. I didn't say that they weren't expecting a pop. They were obviously expecting some sort of a reaction if people were fucking chanting for him, on the show a week prior, to be in that Battle Royal when Cody Rhodes made his appearance and announced the match for this week's show. They were clearly expecting some sort of a reaction. I just don't know that they expected that level of a reaction. That place went fucking nuts. That is the loudest reaction I've heard in that NXT arena probably ever. And if not ever, it's certainly in the top 3 reactions. That place went crazy. The most talked about thing on NXT I have seen in quite some time. So I thought it was cool. And I've heard they might have more NXT appearances scheduled for Joe Hendry, as they should. The guy's very entertaining. But, back to my original point with the Hardy Boyz. I think there is a possibility that we could see them even before they go back to the main roster at some point down the road. An NXT run, honestly, might be perfect for them. I don't know how far Florida is from North Carolina. I'm not a geography guy, but if they can stay put in North Carolina and just be flown into Florida every week to do a couple NXT shows, maybe work the NXT house shows, probably not. Having them work the fucking Citrus Coconut Loop or whatever in fucking Florida might not necessarily be necessary. But, work in the TV shows, kind of like what New Day did when they were NXT Tag Team Champions about a year or so ago, and a year and a half ago. Just have them do something similar to that. I feel like that would be pretty cool. The Hardys have never been NXT Tag Team Champions. They've never even once appeared in the NXT arena, neither of them. So, honestly, as part of this TNA relationship, and I know next week we're having a Tag Team Turmoil match on NXT to crown new #1 contenders to Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Having a TNA tag team not only in the match, but win the thing, because they didn't win on Tuesday. Frankie Kazarian and Joe Hendry did not win that Battle Royal on Tuesday night. I feel like that would be the way to go, because I'm not really sure what other tag teams you would, put in that spot. Gallows and Anderson just lost the OC. NXT doesn't really have that deep of a tag team division. So bringing on in the Hardys, and ABC would be cool as well. They're not really doing much currently in TNA. That being Chris Bay and Ace Austin, they're an excellent team as well. So them or the Hardys at some point in NXT, honestly, might not be that far off.